Hey guys, I'm Jim and I'm obsessed with movies, and in this retrospective it's time to talk about a movie that is obsessed with movies. It'll make sense in a minute. Let's have a look at Cinema Paradiso.
Cinema Paradiso was produced in director Giuseppe Tornatore's hometown in Bagheera, Sicily, as well as Cefalù on the Tyrrhenian Sea. The director used his childhood experiences as an inspiration for the movie. The famous town square used in the film is Piazza Umberto in the village of Palazzo Andriano, about 30 miles to the south of Palermo. The iconic Paradise Cinema was built here at Viva Nino Bixio, overlooking the octagonal Baroque fountain, which dates from 1608. Tornatore apparently declared his intention was that this movie should serve as an obituary for traditional movie theatres and the movie industry in general. After the film's success, he never mentioned this again.
Okay, I'm gonna make a really good movie about appreciating movies so I can get rid of movie theatres.
Right.
Cinema Paradiso actually exists in multiple versions. It was originally released in Italy on 17th November 1988 at 155 minutes, but poor box office performance in its native country led to it being shortened to 123 minutes for the international release. It was an instant success, going on to earn over 12 million domestically on a budget of 5. This international version won the Special Jury Prize at the 1989 Cannes Film Festival and also bagged the 1989 Best Foreign Language Film Oscar. In 2002, the director's cut, an 173-minute version, was released, known in the US as Cinema Paradiso, the new version. Not Cinema Paradiso The Next Generation, because that would have most certainly been bad. When in search of his main star, Giuseppe Tornatore photographed over 300 young Sicilian boys before he eventually cast Salvatore Cascio in the role of Salvatore, the youngster the film focuses on. Actor Jacques Perrin plays a grown-up Salvatore in this film, and Tornatore admits on the DVD special features that they look nothing alike. They actually couldn't look less alike. You might as well have cast me as the old Salvatore and it would have been more accurate.
Pathetic!
A character played by Brigitte Fossey was included in the first theatrical version of the film, but then dropped in the shorter re-release. Her scenes were eventually reinstated in the extended version, and I'm so glad she's included in the longer cut because her presence actually ends up being one of the things that makes this version of the film so powerful and emotional. The famous kissing scene montage at the end of this movie was used in an episode of The Simpsons that aired on March 21st, 2010, during its 21st season. Hey, who says New Simpsons is all bad? The scene used Morricone's love theme and included animated clips of famous movie kisses, including scenes used in Cinema Paradiso, as well as other contemporary films not shown in the original film. Cinema Paradiso tells the story of a filmmaker named Salvatore who has been away from his hometown for years and returns to pay tribute to his recently passed old friend, Alfredo, played by Philippe Noiret. Alfredo was the projectionist of the Cinema Paradiso, where Salvatore worked when he was a boy and a teenager and experienced many good times. The film was all about Salvatore recalling his childhood and teenage years, in which he developed a great passion for movies, a touching friendship with Alfredo, and a romantic interest that went on to become his first love. Cinema Paradiso is a melancholy look at friendship, love, coming of age, and the power of movies. Salvatore is a young boy who is quite unsure of himself, but the presence of the Cinema Paradiso is the one constant thing in his life. It's a safe haven from the rest of the world, and a place of comfort, nostalgia and magic. Salvatore draws comfort through movies and also guidance. He grows up learning important life lessons from the images he sees on the screen. Of course, eventually it's time for him to put these life lessons into practice and believe in himself, utilising the instruction he received from movies, but also finding his own way at the same time. The friendship between Salvatore and Alfredo is a wonder to behold. It's the classic student-teacher dynamic, but it's one of the deepest and most touching interpretations of that idea I've ever seen. Alfredo gives some great advice throughout the film to Salvatore and is constantly by his side as he is growing up. Alfredo is funny, charming, wise, and sometimes firm, but what you can always see is how much he cares about Salvatore. This relationship transcends a mutual love for movies. It becomes a father and son type bond that warms your heart. As I said, Philippe Noiret's performance is superb. He can be very funny, as I said, but when things get serious and he has to be honest with Salvatore, his performance goes to another level. You really feel his inner turmoil and how strongly he holds to his beliefs that he tries to pass on to the youngster. Especially emotional are the scenes in which he tells Salvatore to leave, to go and experience life somewhere else for a while. You can tell how genuine he is, he wants the best for him.
Non tornare più. Non ci pensare mai a noi. Non ti voltare, non scrivere. Non ti fare fottere dalla nostalgia. Dimenticaci tutti. Se non resisti e torni indietro, non venirmi a trovare. Non ti faccio entrare a casa mia. Ho capiste?
Grazie. Per tutto quello che hai fatto per me.
Qualunque cosa farai, amala. Come amavi la cabina del paradiso. Quando eri picciretto.
Cinema Paradiso is a very romantic film that takes an old-fashioned and poetic look at love. Of course, it's not very realistic, and it is very much one of those love at first sight movies. A boy spots a girl he likes and immediately loves her, and somehow him being extremely forward with his feelings works out.
Sei bellissima, Elena. Questo volevo dirti. Quando ti incontro non so mettere in fila due parole perché mi fa venire i brividi. Insomma, non lo so come si fa in questi casi. Cosa si dice? È la prima volta. Ma credo che mi sono innamorata di te.
But to be honest, when you're 15 to 17, you do throw the word around a bit too easily, and I guess, who are people to tell you whether you mean it or not?
Un soldato che faceva la guardia vide passare la figlia del re. Era la più bella di tutte e se ne innamorò subito. Ma che poteva fare un povero soldato a paragone con la figlia del re? Basta. Finalmente un giorno riuscì a incontrarla e ci disse che non poteva più vivere senza di lei. La principessa fu così impressionata dal suo forte sentimento che ci disse al soldato: se saprai aspettare 100 giorni e 100 notti sotto il mio balcone, alla fine io sarò tuo. Menchi. Subito il soldato se ne andò là e aspettò un giorno, e 2 giorni, e 10, e poi 20. E ogni sera la principessa controllava dalla finestra, ma quello non si muoveva mai.
So of course, Salvatore tries this, and it should be creepy. But because of the whole package of this film, the stunning music, the tender direction, the charming dialogue, it instead comes across as very romantic. Yeah, you heard me right, this film makes standing outside your crush's house in the rain every night for a year, looking up at a window, somehow heartwarming.
Of course, if the strategies implemented in this film for getting girls were applied in real life, it would probably go more like this.
It's good to hear your voice. I know it's only a recording, but you have got a bloody nice voice, and God, I just called up to say hi, and then I go and spoil it all by saying something stupid like, I like you. See you tomorrow. Fuck, 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 fuck.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
I've really fucked it, haven't I? Have I fucked it?
Cinema Paradiso celebrates movies and the obvious romanticism of them, and in doing so makes Salvatore and young Maria, played by Antonella Attili, engage in an intense romance that would be a bit forced in real life, but somehow it resonates perfectly in the context of this enchanting picture. Movies are not just shown and talked about in Cinema Paradiso. Their power, themes and style influence the life of the youngster we follow, meaning our protagonist is just as affected by films as the viewer is by the one they are watching. I think this love story will make or break your experience with Cinema Paradiso. As I said, it's very idealistic and lyrical, but if you're somebody like me who really appreciates the way that movies can get away with this sort of thing when it's done well, I think you'll be swept up in it. There are some really gentle techniques that present this teenage romance as innocent and separate from the rest of the world. Director Tornatore really takes you back to your youth, where love was in fact like this. It really did feel like it was you and your girlfriend or boyfriend against the world, and no one else understood the love you shared. This is exactly what this film is going for, that young and naive view of love that can be quite sweet and pleasant, and even enduring if the youngsters are mature enough to see it through. I won't spoil anything, but these kids are determined to keep their promise to each other, and in a way they actually do.
There are those teen love stories that piss you off, Twilight, but this one is really heartwarming. It works really well, it fits with the entire vibe and feeling of the film.
Some sister, you girly!
Eventually Salvatore must realise that the real world has a lot of harsh truths, and as Alfredo tells him, the real world sometimes isn't like the movies, and one day you reach the point where life doesn't always have a happy ending. When the older Salvatore returns to his childhood home, his innocence is lost. He clings onto nostalgia and longs for the past. This adult is now in a world of confusion, and he realises Alfredo was right all along when he said that life isn't as black and white as it seems in the movies. This is a film that surely resonates with all of us. There's always that point in life where you realise a sense of responsibility and a journey to find your true self in a very intimidating world. What I love about Cinema Paradiso is, despite all this, the message isn't that Salvatore should leave movies behind. I mean, hell, he becomes a filmmaker himself. But it's that he should find his own inner strength, confront his past and embrace his love for movies, but in a way in which he realises that they alone won't solve his problems. Fans of the movie are always in debate on which version is better. For me, I prefer the longer cut. I just find it more bittersweet and emotional. Now don't get me wrong, the shorter version is fantastic, but the longer cut for me is the perfect version of the film. While the short cut focuses more strongly on the friendship between Alfredo and Salvatore, the longer cut makes more time for the love story. So I suppose it just comes down to your own personal taste. I think the longer cut builds and builds to a very evocative crescendo and completes the story perfectly. Yes, it's more about the romance, but Salvatore and Alfredo's friendship isn't ignored, and it's a big part of the finale of the movie. I love Cinema Paradiso. Every time I watch it, I am captivated more and more. It's a warm film full of great feelings and special scenes that really tug at your heartstrings and make you think. It's one of those films that when the credits go up, you have to just sit there for a while and take it all in. Cinema Paradiso was a critical and box office success, and is regarded by many as a classic. The film is often credited for reviving Italy's film industry, which later produced films like Life is Beautiful. Good old Roger Ebert gave it 3.5 stars out of 4, and then gave 4 stars to the extended version. Cinema Paradiso has a 90% score on Rotten Tomatoes, with an average score of 8 out of 10. The film is also ranked number 27 in Empire magazine's The 100 Best Films of World Cinema. The movie is also included in the annual 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die book compiled by Stephen J. Snyder, and he better not take it out, because every year he's dropping amazing movies for ones that don't deserve it. Seriously, The Force Awakens is a film you must see before you die? If Cinema Paradiso ever gets taken out, I swear I will personally travel to wherever he lives, ring his doorbell, and then smack the man over his head with his own book.
If you haven't seen Cinema Paradiso, watch it. It's an incredible, melancholy, spectacular, heartwarming experience. It is one of those films that blows your mind, and it's up there with some of the best films I have ever seen. Whichever version you watch, it is a masterpiece. Watch the long version. Soak in that sappy love story. You know you want to. So thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Jim and I'm obsessed with movies, and that was my look at Cinema Paradiso. I thought it was a film that I really wanted to bring attention to. Obviously loads of people have obviously heard of it and love it, but there might be some people out there who haven't heard of it. So definitely check out Cinema Paradiso. And thanks for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, please subscribe, because I'll be doing way more retrospectives in the future. And like this video, comment down below if you've seen the film or what you think of the video. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll be back very, very soon with another video.